Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. If the Warriors manage to negotiate and bring in star Giannis Antetokounmpo, they'll form the best duo in the NBA. For the Bucks to accept an offer, the Warriors will need to include 4 players and 2 picks in this trade. But is this impossible? In the NBA, nothing is impossible. The Golden State Warriors waited until just about the last second to make any moves this offseason. Signing Al Horford seemed to be their biggest improvement, which makes them one of the oldest teams in NBA history. Despite that, they still plan to compete for a championship with their roster structured around Stephen Curry. If they look like they can keep up in the West about halfway through the season, Fansided's Matt Moore believes they could make a splash at the deadline. You fundamentally reshape your entire future instead of trying to sneak out one more title. It buys you time to reconfigure and extend your success and avoid a post-Steph rebuild, Moore said Monday. You can't justify moving one of your franchise icons for almost any player. Giannis is not just any player. Moore proposed a trade that has the Warriors sending Draymond Green, Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, Buddy Hield, and 2 first-round picks to the Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you are the Warriors, it is a lot to give up just for one player. They basically trade in all of their depth to acquire Giannis, who may just be worth it alongside Curry. Now that the Dubs have stretched big men like Quinton Post and Horford, this trade works because they have the spacing they need. The Bucks seem to be struggling with Giannis, and a reset like this could help them reshape for the future. Assets like Moody and Podziemski, as well as the picks, become your building blocks as you look to replicate what Antetokounmpo did for the team. If the Warriors proposed this trade midway through the season, it would have the potential to be one of the biggest trades in NBA history. Warriors get positive update on Jimmy Butler's injury. While the Warriors will try to make a title run this season with their aging core leading the way, they did suffer a minor setback in practice last Friday as Butler rolled his ankle, which caused him to miss Sunday's preseason game against the Lakers. On Tuesday, Golden State received a positive injury update regarding Butler as Clutch Point's Brett Siegel reported that the Warriors are confident that their star forward will be available for their season opener against the Lakers next Tuesday. Siegel also mentioned in his report that the Warriors described Butler's injury as nothing more than a tweak and that he will miss Tuesday's preseason matchup against the Portland Trail Blazers. This is positive news for the Warriors as it appears as though their star forward is on track to play in their season opener against the Lakers next Tuesday despite dealing with an ankle injury. Jimmy Butler's impact in Golden State. For Butler, he played a major role in Golden State's success in the second half of last season after they acquired him from the Miami Heat at the trade deadline. Last season, the 36-year-old forward averaged 17.9 points, 5.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists and 1.7 steals per game while shooting 47.6% from the field and 27.9% from 3 over 30 games with the Warriors. After adding Butler to their roster last season, the Warriors were able to go on a run to end the regular season and they were even able to upset the Houston Rockets, who were the number 2 seed in the West, in the first round of the playoffs. Golden State will now look to build off their success from the end of last season as they head into the 2025-26 season, and while Butler is currently dealing with an ankle injury, it appears as though he will be available for their opening night game against the Lakers next Tuesday. How Warriors Stephen Curry, Draymond Green convinced Al Horford to join Dubs. The NBA regular season is around the corner, and the Golden State Warriors will enter the fresh campaign with center Al Horford ready to play alongside fellow veterans Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. Horford inked a multi-year contract to join the Warriors late in September, and the 5-time All-Star recently said that the conversations he enjoyed with both Curry and Green were key reasons behind his decision to sign with the team. The Warriors provided the type of well-run team and championship opportunity this season that made the move smoother, and Horford thought he would fit within their mix of high-level veterans and younger players looking to make their own mark, wrote Nick Friedell of The Athletic. Horford said at his opening news conference last week that he did not have a relationship with Warriors team leaders Stephen Curry and Draymond Green before signing with Golden State. But once it became clear that playing with the Warriors was a possibility, he started to get a recruiting pitch from both. "Yeah, I had communication with them, with Steph and Draymond," Horford said. "And that was important. It happened very fast because it was at a point where they came to me and they're like, 'Hey, we'd love to have you,' and all these things. And it was one of these things that, for me, looking at this fit and the potential, it just felt right. So them reaching out to me was important." An 18-year veteran, Horford helped the Boston Celtics win an NBA title in 2024, and could be a difference maker for a Golden State team that is hoping to compete in a crowded Western Conference field. Warriors rising 6'5" guard breaks through as top 100 NBA player, per writer. The Golden State Warriors' aging core of Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green will be aiming to lead the dynastic franchise to its 8th title in 2025-26, but some of their younger pieces should be relied upon to make valuable contributions along the way. For the past few seasons, the Warriors' main concern has surrounded the topic of who can lead the team into the post-Curry future, especially since the team failed to hit on their number 2 overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft by selecting current Indiana Pacers center James Wiseman. Fortunately for Golden State, their number 19 overall pick from the 2023 NBA draft and 2023 All-Rookie First-Team selection, Brandon Podziemski, has developed into a reliable offensive option and high IQ defender. The 22-year-old combo guard has gained a favorable reputation around the NBA as a hard-nosed, gritty defender and rebounder with veteran-like poise, and his efforts recently earned him a spot on CBS Sports' Top 100 NBA Players list prior to the beginning of the 2025-26 campaign at number 85. Golden State's Josh Hart, Podziemski is an energizer bunny on both ends with a nose for the ball and an arrhythmic creation cadence that thrives within the cracks of Golden State's randomized offense, CBS Sports' Brad Botkin wrote Tuesday morning. "He can do a little bit of everything. No real holes. Plays fast and confidently. Streaky but capable shooter. A lot of in-between finesse coupled with some bull-in-a-china shop penetration. Terrific positional rebounder. Winning player, bottom line, as evidenced by Golden State's plus 6.8 net rating with him on the floor last season." Following up a rollercoaster 2024-25 for Podziemski, he appears ready to prove that his debut appearance on the top 100 list will not be a fluke. To begin this quest, the incoming third-year guard took full advantage of his opportunity to shine despite the Warriors' 126-116 defeat at the hands of the Los Angeles Lakers on Sunday, with their 4-time NBA champion Curry and 6-time All-Star Butler sidelined due to injury. In 25 minutes of work, Podziemski racked up 23 points, 8 assists and 5 rebounds while shooting 62.5% from the field and registering a +6 in the plus-minus department as Golden State's main offensive creator. Botkin likened Podziemski to the New York Knicks' Swiss Army knife wing Josh Hart for good reason, and it's because of his elite motor and never-say-die attitude. The only difference is that the latter is a much more capable outside shooter and ball handler. For a Warriors organization scrambling to figure out where the direction of the franchise will be headed once Curry, Butler and Green ride off into the sunset, Podziemski could be a player that can build the foundation of their bridge to the future. Ex-Warriors GM Bob Myers reveals why he drafted Jonathan Kuminga. The Golden State Warriors drafted Jonathan Kuminga with the 7th pick in 2021. Former Warriors general manager Bob Myers has revealed the reason why he selected the forward out of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. In an appearance on the Tom Tolbert Show, Myers was asked about his perspective on Kuminga's potential back then. The thinking was the Warriors were preparing for the eventual decline of Steph Curry. They wanted someone who has the potential to be the next face of the franchise. There was a contingent of fans and media, and some people in the organization that thought, let's get somebody more ready to play. But when you draft high, what I believe and we believe was, it's a chance to take a swing and get that Tracy McGrady type guy, Myers said. Kuminga has shown flashes here and there of his potential, but he's at odds with Steve Kerr on how he's being used. The situation got worse in the offseason when there was a standoff between the player and the franchise regarding a contract extension. Some of the players the Warriors could have gotten instead of Kuminga include Franz Wagner, Alperen Sengun, Trey Murphy III and Jalen Johnson. At just 23 years old, JK still has the time to develop, though he's still linked to a possible trade once he becomes eligible on January 15, 2026. Joe Lacob wanted to draft Jonathan Kuminga. According to ESPN's Shams Charania and Anthony Slater last month, Golden State Warriors owner Joe Lacob was high on Jonathan Kuminga's potential. Some members of the coaching staff wanted to draft Franz Wagner, who looked like a seamless fit to the team back then. Joe Lacob has been a central figure in Kuminga's NBA career since the beginning. Bob Myers was team president and Mike Dunleavy assistant general manager when they drafted Kuminga in 2021. They gave the collective green light, but Lacob was a driving force in the selection when others, including a few on the coaching staff, voiced a Franz Wagner preference, sources said, Charania wrote. Lacob was also reportedly against trading Kuminga as part of a trade package involving Alex Caruso in 2023. Caruso ended up with the Oklahoma City Thunder and helped them win the 2025 NBA championship. Steve Kerr praises Jonathan Kuminga after preseason loss. Jonathan Kuminga and Steve Kerr don't have the best coach-player relationship, but the four-time NBA champion coach had some kind words for his player on Sunday. Kerr was pleased with Kuminga's effort on the offensive floor in the Warriors' 126-116 loss to the Los Angeles Lakers. I've been very pleased with just the approach, the effort. I thought tonight he ran the floor hard. He had a couple of plays in the third quarter, where he sprinted and took a defender with him, and we got shots behind the play. That's a hugely important trait that we need from everybody, Kerr said. Kerr plans to use Kuminga off the bench and give him the proper spacing he needs to thrive, as per Tim Kawakami of the San Francisco Standard. He's going to put Kuminga with players who can stretch the floor like Steph Curry, Brandon Podziemski, Al Horford and Quinton Post. Warriors proven right again for letting Klay Thompson go at exactly the right time. Klay Thompson's departure from the Golden State Warriors was less than ideal last year, with the franchise legend leaving for the Dallas Mavericks after failed extension talks with the team that drafted him over a dozen years earlier. The Warriors have been proven right to move on from Thompson when they did though, and perhaps even more so based on how the veteran sharpshooter has looked on both ends of the floor so far in preseason. Klay Thompson's defense might now be a liability for the Mavericks. Once considered as one of the league's premier perimeter defenders, Thompson understandably hasn't been the same on that end of the floor following his two devastating leg injuries. He was still solid enough to be a key starter on Golden State's 2022 championship team, but may have now reached a point 3 years later where a backcourt of he and fellow former Warrior D'Angelo Russell is now a problem for the Mavericks. I saw Klay Thompson try to defend LaMelo Ball. He got that assignment and that didn't go very well either now. I have some concerns about this stage of his career, Klay Thompson and D'Angelo Russell as a backcourt, a starting backcourt on the defensive end, ESPN's Tim McMahon recently said on the Hoop Collective. Thompson's worst 2 seasons in terms of defensive rating have come in the last 2 years. He's now very much a one-dimensional player as a shooter first and foremost, which is exactly why he was moved to the bench late in his final season with the Warriors and replaced by a more multifaceted Brandon Podziemski. It's also why the front office was willing to let him walk in free agency, rather than re-sign him to a 3-year deal when he's clearly on the downside of his career. Another issue for Thompson is that his shooting numbers have also taken a dip, having shot a career-worst 41.2% from the floor in his first season with the Mavericks. The preseason numbers haven't been good either, with the 5X All-Star shooting 33.3% from both the floor and three-point range through 3 games. Al Horford just revealed the real reason he left the Celtics. Golden State Warriors center Al Horford discussed his decision to leave the Boston Celtics. Al Horford finally opened up about his decision to leave the Boston Celtics this summer, and it was absolutely gut-wrenching. The now Golden State Warriors center shared this thought process with The Athletic's Nick Friedell, pinpointing the opportunity to win as a top priority. I think that where Boston was as a team, even though I called them my home and everything was there for me, they just weren't in a position to offer me the opportunity that I wanted, Horford told Friedell. At this point, Horford probably only has 1 or 2 seasons left in the NBA. It makes sense that he made a move in an effort to make the most of them. Unfortunately, the Celtics were part of his plan until Jason Tatum tore his Achilles tendon. There was two things there, Horford continued. I think the financial part was a component, but more than that, it was the winning part of it, trying to contend for a championship. And I think there was a lot of things up in the air, and it just felt like they weren't in that same vision, obviously, because JT getting hurt, that takes a big toll. So I think at that point I really had to, up until then I was staying in Boston the whole time. This is, of course, the first time Horford has openly spoken about what went into his decision to leave the Celtics. But, his reasoning is something many in the media and in the Celtics community had speculated to be the case throughout the offseason. As sad as it may be, it's not super surprising. Horford's time in Boston was special. It also shouldn't diminish what Horford meant to the franchise during his 7 seasons with the CS, though some fans are upset about his decision to join the rival Warriors. He appeared in 465 regular season games and 119 playoff games across his 2 stints in Boston. Horford served as a tremendous role model and mentor to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown when they were in their first few NBA seasons, and his contributions shouldn't be taken for granted. Horford made it clear that his time with the Celtics was special, even though he saw this opportunity with Golden State as the best move for himself. From the moment we arrived, you have welcomed my family and I with open arms, he said in a thank you post to social media. Raising banner 18 with this city will be a moment I will always cherish.